rise to the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let the record show that all board members are here, in addition to Superintendent Carey, our elementary principal, and our high school principal. Thank you. Principal student representative information. Our student rep isn't here this evening. Could we start?
He has a new job and was hoping one of his proteges was going to be able to make it, but I didn't, which is okay because then I have more things to say.
Yes, Mrs. Sebo, go
ahead. It
ahead.
is snow week at the senior high school. Today was Minnesota Day. Tomorrow is tie-dye day. Wednesday is rival day. Thursday is stoplight day, and Friday is, of course, school spirit day. There are multiple games every night except Wednesday, so there are many activities for everyone to go to this week. Coronation is tomorrow at 11 in the big gym, if anyone would like to join us. And we are having a couple other activities over the course of the week, finishing with a pep rally at 2 p.m. on Friday. High school registration has started. Mrs. Forsman went over and got the 8th graders started registering for 9th grade. The rest of the senior high will register between now and next Wednesday. Always an exciting time of year. And then we have a few trips coming up. The Spanish classes students have the opportunity to go to World Language Days at the Minnesota Zoo. That's on February 11th with Ms. Larson. Mr. Strasser is taking the physics class to UMD on February 17th for their annual toothpick bridge competition. And if you are able to catch WDIO this evening, our brand new book club will be featured. Mr. Ufford started this book club this year. They had shirts made. They all have matching shirts. He called some publishing companies to ask for a discount on some books, and Bain Publishing Company actually donated copies of their next book selection to the book club. So the students all got the next book for free, Monster Hunter International, if you'd like to read it with them. That's all.
How many students in the book club?
It varies by the book, but I want to say it's between 20 and 30.
Good.
He buys them breakfast and they meet in the mornings before school. Talk about the book in the hallway. It's been a pretty big hit.
Good.
At the Franklin, we just finished up our benchmark testing. I think that I talked about the first time I was here. And we started our OPA, practice MCA testing today, actually. That started for reading. We also have this Wednesday our final teacher in service after school from 3 to 5. And that's, we're going to discuss and finish up some of the teacher evaluation things that we've been working through this year. And I guess the last thing that I have is we're kind of gearing up here for I Love to Read month at the Franklin because it's the month of February. So we're gearing up for Reader's Reef. It's kind of a beach theme. And I know that Ms. Scuffy's working hard on that. We have some dress-up days. We have PJ Day, Sunglasses and Hat Day, Golden Bear Day, and then our last, final hurrah is our Beach Day, and we're looking at some outside beach-flavored games, so in the winter. But that's what we have coming up for the month of February.
I wish you well. Thank you.
Yeah.
Visitor input. Is there anyone who is not on the agenda who would like to address the board? Yes.
First, I would like to suggest that on your agenda, that you change visitor input from 5.0 to 6.0 and have it after the agenda changes or deletions, because then if there is an addition or deletion, if there's an addition, a visitor may want to speak to that, and if there's deletion, then it's a moot point that there'd be no reason to address it. And then the only other thing is I'd just like to announce that we have a national speaker coming to Duluth. His name is Dr. Duke Pesta. He's a professor of English at the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh, and he's given over 400 presentations all over the country. His title is his presentation is entitled "The Case Against Common Core National Standards," He will be at the Duluth Gospel Tabernacle on Saturday, February 7th at 2 o'clock. There's also a group in Minneapolis sponsoring him, and he will speak at Grace Church in Eden Prairie on February 6th in the evening. So I'm just going to leave these over here if anybody's interested in seeing the flyer. I've requested it to be published on our public access channels and everything, and it'd be very informative. Common Core is one of the national education issues being talked about these days, so it was just an informative piece that I wanted to let you know about. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wished to address the board? 6.0, agenda changes and deletions.
I have two. Both of them are in front of you. 9.4 under personnel would be accepting the resignation of Mark Heitzman. And under new business, 11.4, authorize going out for bids on a couple of projects related to the IRRB bond project. One would be a bus garage on the Eveleth campus and re-roofing the old gym on the Eveleth campus, the old high school entry over in Gilbert, the gym entry in Gilbert, the media center in Gilbert, and the boiler room on the Gilbert campus.
8.0, consent agenda.
You have to approve the agendas.
I'm
7.0
sorry.
first.
My apologies. 7.0.
I'll move.
Thank you. Made by Keith, supported by Leon. Or Mark.
Take your pick.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. 8.0 consent agenda. 3 items this evening are approved minutes of the reorganizational meeting and regular meeting of Monday, January 12, 2015. Approve the treasurer's report for the second check writing in January, and approve extracurricular appointments.
I'll move.
Moved by Mike. Is there a second? Support by Leon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. 9.0 personnel. 9.1 accept the letter of resignation from Jamie Bonicato.
I'll move to accept the letter of resignation from Jamie Bonicato from the hockey program. I will second.
Motion by Keith, seconded by Mark. Any discussion? I have a question. My understanding is that he left quite a while ago. I'm curious why we're just hearing about this now.
It was just brought to my attention by our athletic director last week, so and I don't know. I guess I don't really have an excuse. It's just something that happened.
Yeah, okay. Again, there was a motion by Keith, seconded by Mark Forty, to accept the letter of resignation. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Item 9.2, approve the school board committee assignments. Everyone received a request to sign up for the committees that they wanted. If you have any changes, you can still contact Kathy or myself and get that squared away.
Do we need these empty spaces filled that are on here? Or,
The cable commission is
okay.
is looking for somebody. It doesn't necessarily have to be from the school board.
Right, but it doesn't have to be a board
It can just be
member.
from the school.
Okay.
That's a vacancy. Is there a motion?
I do have a change to add me to some committee assignments.
Yep, I've given some of them to Kathy.
Okay.
I just told her that you'd make contact with her and
Okay.
finalize those. I'll move that we accept the committee assignments with the change once you've spoken to
Okay.
Kathy.
Approve.
Motion by Mona, seconded by Keith, that we accept the committee assignments. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. 9.3, accept the letter of resignation from Mary Fleetwood. Superintendent Carey, is there anything you need to?
This is just a position in the Franklin. That individual decided to resign last week. Requesting that you accept that resignation and authorize the board, or authorize administration to post for replacement.
I'll move.
Support.
Motion by Keith, supported by Leon, to accept the letter of resignation from Mary Fleetwood. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Old business. 10.1, designate the school
Nope.
district.
9.4.
I'm sorry, 9.4, accept the resignation from Mark Heitzman. Superintendent Carey, is there anything you need to share on that?
I included his letter from about a week ago, just outlining that he has been in this position, and he's requesting that he go back to his custodian position unless the school board was agreeable to giving him a further extended leave of absence in the last paragraph there. So,
Can we have a moment to read this? I just actually got this when we walked in.
Well, while you're all reading it, I make a motion that we extend Mark's contract. At least his,
his contract is
not the
through
contract,
June.
but his probationary period until we can get this thing ironed out.
It would be his leave of absence.
Leave
is
of
the
absence, I'm sorry.
term
Okay.
I'm looking for.
Can you
So,
put a date on that? I think at our last meeting, he was asking, or
First
I remember hearing June 1st. Extend it to June 1st, so we would have time to work out the issues. I'm just asking Keith if he would put a date on his motion.
3 months, would that cover, would that take care of it? So we can get this done?
He was initially asking till the end of the school year, so.
That'd be June. I don't have a problem with that. Hopefully we can get this ironed out, get all the bugs straightened out, find out what we can do, and get this resolved. It's been long overdue, and I'm just as guilty as anybody else for not pushing it.
I will second the motion.
so there's a motion by Keith, second by Mr. Forty, that we extend the leave of absence to, clarify the date for me, please?
June 1st.
To June 1?
Have you heard?
Yes.
June 30th.
Well, it's taken a long time to get here. My name is Brad Hadrava. I'm the plumber for the school district. I'm also the union president. Yeah, this has been a long process for everybody. Our union has given him an extension until the 10th. At that point,
February?
10th of February, it's our next meeting. At that point, I can't guarantee. We're going to allow to hang 4 more members of our union out there that much longer. And I think you should be aware of that because we have 4 jobs hanging out, not just one. And so we'll address whatever you give them, but I think you should know that there's a chance that we won't follow suit. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
Have you had a chance to read that?
I guess I got it.
Is there any additional discussion on this motion?
I would like to, just ask, it says, there's a spot in here, it says, with no promised changes thus far. I thought we went through committee, made an agreement of what changes would be, they just haven't been implemented. Is that a false statement?
That is correct.
That is correct
What
then?
you just said.
We did not agree to anything?
What you just said is correct. We did.
So what he wrote in here is no promise changes thus far is an incorrect statement in writing here. And then, I mean, if we want to get technical about it, I mean, he initially asked for a year leave of absence extension, and our superintendent countered him with 6 months. So, I mean, he didn't ask for the 6-month leave of absence. He was countered with that. So we got to put that in perspective also.
Well, my understanding is that Superintendent Carey has met with Mr. Heitzman a few times to try and work this out. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And at this point, it's simply, we're simply on different planes. No one's come to an agreement, correct?
I have not
I
been
mean,
able,
he's
I have not been able to-
dissatisfied with whatever's been presented, and he's not. All right. Now, there still seems to be, excuse me, some question on the date. You had indicated June 1.
June 1st, the end of the school year. I can't remember the date, is that right? June 3rd? June 30th?
His contract is through the end of June.
His contract ends on June 30th.
I just
Well,
want to make sure that we've clearly reflected what
June
you...
30th, okay.
All right.
I don't have a problem with that. I just want it to be taken care of, get it done, get everything ironed out, and settle this. Because there's too many people being held in limbo here. We've got to get this done.
Well, as a committee, we only met twice, and we come up with suggestions on the second meeting, which Mark wasn't present at that time. But the committee never got called back again to iron out what we decided at that meeting. So it put the committee into limbo because we couldn't act.
But the
Right.
superintendent has been meeting with him on an ongoing basis.
I think we just have to get back together with him and get this ironed out.
Well, I believe in cooperating with it
Yeah.
100%. My only other question is, by granting this, are we opening up a can of worms that down the line that anybody can come along and say, you know, we set a precedence here?
No?
I don't
I
think
don't
we're
think so.
setting a binding precedent. I think what we're doing is saying we're willing to follow up on what we said we would do. And when we were interviewing with him and negotiating the contract, everybody was in agreement that there were changes that needed to be made in the workload for that position. We didn't get that done by January 1, but we were working on it. And I think it is very reasonable to extend his leave until those things could be worked out and agreed on. And I think by June 30th, we should have that done. I compliment the union, ASME union, on extending the leave, as they have done once already. I would hope if we as a board pass that, or twice, thank you, if we as a board agree or suggest that it go until June, I would hope you would be willing to do that. It is a very important position. We all agreed that there were changes that needed to be made for the better of the school district, and I think a few more months working at the problems would be well worth it.
Superintendent Carey, can you address some of the conversations you've had with Mr. Heitzman? I'm at odds a little bit with the characterization that there hasn't been any forward movement or that there hasn't been any negotiating, because my understanding is that you have been working with him on this.
I've met with him lots, talking about, you know, and there's some of the things that came out of the committee was mostly workload reducing types of suggestions. One of his main concerns at this point is two things: the lack of a backup system for when he is not present, and after hours phone calls, call-outs, and items like that, to which we have been continuing to try to come up with solutions to that without hiring additional staff, trying to work within. His fear at this point, when I spoke to him today, is that he the fact is we haven't done it yet. I mean, he hasn't seen that this is going to happen or what it's even going to look like. So he just, I guess he's fearful of making that commitment and losing his position in the union if what I have been talking with him about is not going to be functional.
Well, instead of saying we're going to extend for 6 months, can't we get if he would be agreeable to get together and let's iron out the
Yes.
differences.
I think as soon as
And
possible.
say, hey, we're not going to go, it's not going to take us 6 months. Let's
Yeah,
get together,
let's get it-
get this thing done with and get it over with.
If we can get it done sooner, I
And
got no
if he's
problem.
willing to stay
with that.
on, that's fine, you know?
Well, I mean, you
I'll work
guys
with him
met,
on it, yeah.
the last time you guys met was the second week of December.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, there was plenty of time by the end of the year to meet again, to talk in circles. I mean, at this point, it sounds like he just doesn't trust our superintendent to carry out what they agreed to. As far as I'm concerned, looking at the contract, I mean, when you, in the private sector, when you take a position, you take it the day you sign the contract. The probationary period doesn't mean that you're going to accept it when your probationary period's over. It's saying that your employer can release you without cause before that. I mean, there's no, let's make a decision later. I mean, you made the decision the day you signed that contract, or you accepted the position, and that was, we're going on 16 months now. I mean, he took the position. At this point, he's an at-will employee. I mean, he can quit, but I mean, he's telling me that he doesn't have any confidence in our superintendent's word, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Where are you getting that?
Where are you getting
What
that?
I get, when I read in here, there is a statement that says Superintendent Carey has acted in good faith
Right.
to begin downscaling the workload.
Mm-hmm.
Acting in good faith. Where do you get that he doesn't trust him?
Up on the second paragraph, halfway down, with no promise changes thus far. I mean, he's saying that
Yeah.
point
We're
blank
working
that,
through
that
it.
we've never agreed to any agreement at this stage.
Promised changes don't mean anything. Agreed
Well,
to
no.
changes is what counts.
Well, and
Well,
right-
there's a
right-
motion on the table to extend the leave of absence until June 30, correct?
Yes.
That was the same motion that was last meeting, basically.
So I will call for the vote on that. Again, it is to extend the leave of absence until June 30. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay.
Nay.
No,
All right, so let me clarify. The noes are Tom,
Mike?
Mike, and Mona. Is that correct?
Yes.
Everyone else in favor of, all right?
Yes.
Motion passes.
No, may I say something?
Absolutely.
We need to have any meetings to get together with this, to get this going. I'm willing to come in and help with it. Just let me know when. I work till 3:30, I can be here by 4:30 every day, unless it snows.
We still have, I mean, we still have that open standing committee, don't we?
I know, but I don't remember who's on the committee.
That's not a standing committee. That was
Or-
a committee that was formed by the
Yeah, and
the old
For
board.
this-
Formed
Beth
by
is,
the-
Beth is no longer on that committee, she's
Oh,
gone.
Correct, she's gone. Yeah.
Just let me know when it is, I'll come. We have to get this taken care of.
All right, 10.0, old business. 10.1, designate school district attorney. Superintendent Carey.
You have a letter from one firm in front of you with a proposal. Mr. Clausimo is still, he has been our attorney for many years, is still interested in, I don't know, do we have anyone else that you're aware of?
I don't have any documents from anyone, and I haven't had any personal calls from anyone else.
Okay.
I asked the Trentee to come and speak if they felt they felt they were qualified.
Right, and he mentioned Trentee.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And
I was reading.
Colosimo. And we've indicated that we will hear from any interested parties. So if one of you gentlemen would like to step forward.
I'm also Eric Conklin. I think I emailed you,
Okay.
so if you want to go first. Okay. Thank you. My name is Eric Conklin. I am a...
Step over the mic, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. Good evening. My name is Eric Conklin. I'm an attorney in Virginia, Minnesota. My partner is Carver Richards, who is a former board member here, and also sent all 4 of his children here. He's a longstanding practitioner in the area with 42 years of legal experience. Both he and I work to represent clients in the past for issues regarding school issues. I think Mr. Richards has represented school boards or school districts in the past. And we also have worked, and I attended the last statewide legal conference for education or public education, which was held in 2013 for lawyers to get updated on all of the statutory changes which are constantly occurring each and every year. And so we would like to bring forward a proposal that's very simple of essentially a retainer fee of $180 an hour and $90 an hour for staff time. I would say that beyond that, what I would like to know is it's simply not just a matter of understanding or simply not just giving a price. I mean, if you want the lowest price, the lowest bidder, I'm sure that you can probably find somebody that has that will provide a lower amount than that. And probably Brian, because he's coming second, so just like under $5. So, but you know what actually I would like to do is that if we were retained, I would be very interested in coming in and meeting with Superintendent Carey, meeting with the board, perhaps on a subcommittee level, and talking about like what are your needs and what would you like to have an attorney do for you. Part of our job as a lawyer is not just to simply tell you here's what the statutes are and here's what the relevant case law is, here's what the regulations say, but it's more about, I think, providing a value. It's, you know, if we can help reduce exposure, if we can provide a different angle on contracts that can help the school board reduce potential legal exposure in the future, if we can do something that we can take time that somebody else in your school district or staff member that's already working on, if there's something that we can take over that would provide you an economic benefit, I'd like to know what those are and explore those different options. Just a little bit about me. I was a former student here from first grade and second grade. I had Mrs. Newman in first grade and Mrs. Woods in second grade, and retired. Mrs. Woods just retired a little while ago. I don't know if Mrs. is still around. She's still around. So that kind of dates me. So, but I also do a number of participate on boards as a volunteer. I'm on the Mesabi Symphony Orchestra board and also the Blue Superior Symphony board. I graduated from the University of Wisconsin-Superior with my undergraduate degree in music and legal studies. Then I went to law school, and I also got an MBA on top of that. And so I started my practice up here in 2008, and Mr. Richards joined me in 2013. And so one of the things that I do know is I have a familiarity with the area, familiarity with the Iron Range. I graduated from high school from Virginia in 1998. So I don't know if that makes it so it's impossible that I can get hired coming from Virginia. But I would very much like to talk to the board more about, and maybe Mr. Carey, about what those legal needs are, and exploring a way to find ways to get more cost savings, provide an economic value, and then also do fundamentally what a lawyer is supposed to do, is advise you as to what the statutes and the law are, and do the best we can to help navigate legal questions, coming up with solutions. That's one of, I think, the most important things a lawyer does, is come up with solutions, and that can be both in a legal sense and also in a business sense. Having as much schooling as I do, in terms of 9 years of post-secondary education, I understand the major conflict between the issues of money and academia, and how hard it is to, fund everything in terms of what you want to do academically, but then also providing the greatest amount of choice and flexibility within your curriculum. So I think with regard to that, I can probably bring some fairly good experience on that. Mr. Richards can bring 42 years of significant litigation experience and wisdom to all of the decisions that you would hopefully bring. And then also I'd want to know if you were interested in having a lawyer at every meeting. We can provide that. My firm is growing. I have Mr. Richards and myself, but also I have one more lawyer that will be graduating into the end of 2013. Her name is Nisi Strand. And I also have a contract attorney with me. His name is Habib Jamal. So we do have 3 lawyers at this point, and 4 with a 4th coming up in the future. It's been great to be able to expand, and I would encourage your consideration in this, and look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Could I ask, what's the name of your law firm?
Honkin and Richards.
The Honkin, okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Brian Lindsay. I'm from the Trenti Law Firm. I hope you all have received and reviewed the letter that we had sent in. That letter covers a good deal of our background and experience as a firm, as well as our resources and what it is that we have to offer professionally to the school board. I would note in there that we have done and continue to do work with school districts. We're active in the representation of the Chisholm School District. We have represented the Eveleth School District in the past, and the Eveleth schools in the past. We have substantial knowledge and a good amount of knowledge with regard to representation of school boards. The other knowledge that we bring, or experience that we bring that's unique, is in representing municipalities. A lot of those things, including public meeting laws and data requests, a lot of those areas. Yep, I'm sorry. A lot of those areas overlap, and so we bring a great deal of municipal experience. But one of the keys, or one of the big things that we offer, is the diversity and experience in our firm. We have many combined years of experience in the firm, and representing school boards is, there's a lot to know. It's not simply covering the 9 or so chapters of the Minnesota statutes that exist out there. Like I said, it's also governmental law. It's also knowing the ins and outs of public meetings in a lot of those areas as well. And so the letter also outlines some of the bid prices, and as Eric indicated, I believe the bid that we made, at least as to my hourly rate, is a little bit less, but what we tried to build in there is a little bit of flexibility. You're not stuck with one model, one price. It's an offering of a variety of different areas. We have a flat rate if you'd like to guarantee attendance at a meeting. And along with that flat rate is our general availability at the firm to answer routine questions that come up from time to time. If you'd like to go at a separate in a separate direction, we've quoted hourly rates for the different attorneys in the firm. I believe mine is, I'm not going to mention after Eric, but mine is a bit lower. But for those issues that you feel are more complicated, where you'd like a more experienced attorney to step in, we've got Mr. Neff, who's got substantial experience with the schools, and Mr. Leone as well, who brings a great litigation experience. And so that different price structure allows the school board to manage its resources a little bit and to bring what experience they believe to bear on the issues that arise. And so I guess with that, I'll leave it up to your decision. We do appreciate your consideration. We very much appreciate the opportunity to come down and speak with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I will make a motion that the board authorize the board chair and the superintendent to hire legal counsel as needed, which is generally the way we handle this.
Support.
That's what I was going to ask. I mean, how do we normally do the attorney? It's just, we just call them when we need them. We don't
Yeah.
really have one on retainer. And
We don't have people on retainer. We have them
don't.
for
just kind of-
25 years.
We're just designating who we're going to call, right? Basically,
Yeah.
is at this stage of it.
This was educational. Find out what's available, who's available.
Okay, yeah.
We're designating now who you're going to call, or is
No,
it
no.
you who
No.
you call? You and
Authorize the board
superintendent.
chair and the superintendent to hire legal counsel as needed and designate at that time based on perhaps the issue at hand or the
Experience or
the
whatever,
experience,
taking
whatever
things that-
the
I'm
situation
comfortable with
might
that. That's fine.
grant. Yeah.
Oh, so we're not just going to make a one-all decision tonight? I mean, you
No.
guys, as needed, you guys will
As
make that
needed,
decision?
and it's not always the same people. It's, you know,
Oh,
it's
that's
on a
just
need
depending.
basis.
Are you both fine with that decision?
Doesn't matter.
They don't have to
Well,
be.
I mean,
We're fine with.
it's whether they, I mean, I guess
No.
my thing is that, are they going to answer the phone, or are they still
Well,
willing to
that's-
take the phone call?
That makes it easy if they choose not to.
Oh, well, I'm just
All right, all those in
trying to
favor?
be-
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. And 10.2, designate the official school newspaper. Again, Superintendent Carey.
I put some information in front of you from both the Hometown Focus and the Mesabi Daily News. We got some more specific information. Kathy sent them an example of some minutes to a meeting, and you can see the different prices. The Mesabi Daily News was considerably cheaper on the minutes, but if you look at some of the other publications that we have to do, there's a pretty significant difference in those. So, I mean, it's, I guess I know you went and looked at some circulation numbers for.
Yeah, what I was able to get, I spoke to a gal at Mesabi Daily. She advises that, and she was only able to give me numbers for Sundays. Eveleth circulation was 1,148. Gilbert was 570. I also spoke to a gentleman at Hometown Focus who advises me that in print they are at approximately 2,500, and he said approximately 5 times that in online service. And they do track their online service. It's pretty substantial. He also asked me to share, for anyone who may not be aware, that they are a free paper, including their online service. You don't need to buy any of the services, even on the online.
Is this educational too, or is this an actual making a decision which ones we're going to use?
This we designate.
Oh, same language as the last one, so that's why I wondered.
I'll make a motion that we designate Hometown Focus as our official newspaper.
I'll support that.
One of the reasons I make that motion is the comment in here in their letter that they are willing to take a summary or a wrap-up article from our board chair every month and publish that in the paper. I think that would be good to get more information out about our district.
And I've
in
had
the
that
Hometown Focus.
conversation with both papers. Both indicated that they would be willing to do that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any
Yep.
other discussion? Is there? I'm just asking. I'm just asking. Old habits are hard to break.
Habits, I understand, and I welcome the help. All those in favor of the motion to designate the Hometown Focus as the official newspaper signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? It passes.
I'm
Thank you for the help.
I'm sorry.
Dave. I'm not offended. Welcome the help. All right, 11.0, new business. 11.1, approve out-of-state travel for orchestra students.
You going to speak to that, Ms. Sebo?
Sheila Wilcox has asked us to approve this. We share her with Virginia. I believe they make this trip once every 4 years, like the band cycle has been on now. They have been fundraising. I think you have a copy of the tentative itinerary, but I know Disney shuffles those workshops around. They are able to go to a variety of performances and workshops while they're there, in addition to doing some touristy things while they're there too.
How many times will they perform themselves when they're on this? You know?
I think twice, but don't quote me.
Okay. And how many of our students participate in the orchestra?
This is open to students. Orchestra is much smaller than band,
Right.
so they do open it to younger students. We have 16 students at the senior high that go to Virginia for orchestra, and I believe about the same number in the 7th and 8th grade. There's more students at the junior high level. I'm at the senior high right now.
And how many students will be going on this trip
I
altogether?
don't have a number
Not-
from her
Okay,
yet
I'm just
of
curious.
who's going.
There is a number, like 185 paying students on the second page here. I don't know if
Between the,
the whole.
Yeah, the
group,
whole thing,
yeah.
the whole, all
Based on
school districts, yes.
185.
And then it shows its chaperones and directors and stuff, so that's
Just
ballpark
one
numbers.
one side note, the school is not responsible for any of the financial. They did this on their own.
This is a Virginia trip. They'll pay for her sub.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm guessing they're assuming that we will approve this because if
if
you look
we-
at the dates,
Yes.
they've already spent a substantial
Yes.
sum of money
Yes.
toward this.
I'll move that we allow them to go. Seeing as how we don't have any financial risk at this, I mean, it's all fundraisers. And it is part of the orchestra. I mean, it's a joint thing. I think we should do this.
I'll second.
Motion by
Support.
Keith, support by Mike, that we approve the out-of-state travel for the orchestra. My only comment regarding this, and it's not just this, but I really wish that the board would be in the loop a little earlier than after all of this money has been paid and these decisions have been made. I realize it's the Virginia program, but it really would be nice if once in a while they'd consider that we may have some discussion we'd like to have on this first. We're kind of painted into a corner on this.
I agree.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. And item 11.2, approve the concurrent enrollment agreement with Vermillion Community College.
Ms. Sebo, would you want to speak to that one as well?
This is a yearly fee that we pay to allow our students to get transcripted credit for the CEP courses they take here on our campus. It's just a flat fee from the college. This is our first year working with Vermillion Community College. We found ourselves unable to work with Lake Superior anymore as their requirements for our teaching staff changed.
Now, as I recall, Lake Superior College demands master's degrees.
Subject-specific masters. So most teachers in northern Minnesota have a master's in teaching.
But
It's
not
very
in-
difficult to come by a master's in chemistry or a master's in.
And that is the one item that isn't required through Vermillion Community College,
Correct.
correct? Okay.
They're accredited through a different organization.
And their credits do transfer, correct?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I need to know.
What kind of participation do we have in this? Did we have, you said last year was our first year, or this year's our first
Last year was our first year working with Vermillion. We've had concurrent enrollment classes here for
year?
a really long time, and they're very heavily taken. Our students really value those credits here without having to leave.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to do Vermillion.
Support.
Motion by Leon, supported by Keith, that we approve the concurrent enrollment agreement with Vermillion Community College. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion passes. 11.3, resolution number 572, directing the administration to make recommendations for reductions in programs and positions and the reasons therefore.
This is a resolution that's passed by the board every year, just authorizing me and my staff to start the budgeting process through staffing. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to cut anything. but-
No, this isn't one.
Yeah.
I'll move.
Support.
Motion by Keith, supported by Leon.
This needs to be a roll call vote.
Yep. I'm more ready for you this time.
All right.
Mike Peterson,
Yes.
Mona Putzel,
Yes.
Mark Forty,
Yes.
Leon Schonlub,
Yes.
Mark Chad,
Yes.
Tom Gentilini,
Yes.
Keith Young, yes. Unanimous. Pass.
Board Chair Mona, may I have one more time before we move on to superintendent's report?
Is it in reference to this resolution?
No,
We have one more.
it goes back to 9:4.
Can you hold on just a little
I can.
bit? Thank you.
We have one more, 11.4.
Thank you. All right. 11.4, authorize going out for bids. Superintendent Carey.
We had a buildings grounds meeting last week, just discussing some of the potential projects that we may do this summer. About a little over a year ago, when the school district received our IRRB bond money in the amount of about $2.3 million, we started out last summer with the windows and some re-roof projects over in Gilbert. The canopy entrance was redone. And as a part of that bond, it had also been written at that time that we would look at building a new bus garage. At that time, the board decided that they would wait to see how the first round of projects came out to see where we were standing financially. As it turns out, we are doing pretty well. The bids came out well last year with those projects, and we are looking at replacing the metal bus garage on the Eveleth campus here so that it can fit a modern school bus, and also re-roofing projects, the old gym here at the Eveleth campus, the old high school entry in Gilbert, the gym entry in Gilbert, the media center in Gilbert, and the boiler room on the Gilbert campus. And all of those projects will fit within our budget on that bond project.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Can we discuss this a little bit first?
So you should make a motion. I'll make a motion that we approve that.
And I'll support.
Okay. Like,
Motion by Keith, supported by Leon, to support the authorization to go out for bids. Go ahead, Mike.
I would like to maybe suggest that we put on the side the bus garage right now until we're done with our facility study. There was discussion that during the meeting that maybe it would be better to do a concrete bus garage and this, that, and the other thing, but we didn't have enough money, and it seems like we should maybe wait for a little bit until we know where we're going. And there was also discussion a while ago about once the junior high building comes down, that would be a better location to put a bus garage. So I mean, I think maybe it'd be premature to just, because we have the money, just to throw something at it that we kind of don't really want, but we should just spend money because we have it versus maybe wait and do it right. Because there's been so many projects, you always hear like, why didn't we do this back in the day? And well, we didn't have the money to do it all the way, so we did this, and 20 years later it's not fully complete. I mean, I think if we're going to invest in a garage, I think we should do it to the best. We should maybe put it off to the side a little bit and maybe find the extra money to do it like we really want to do it, instead of 10 years down the road find it's inadequate. And we got that bus garage over there, it's a metal building, we're going to tear a metal building down and put another metal building down just so it's a little longer. I mean, it just seems like a waste of money just because we feel we have to spend it.
Well, we have the report coming due the 9th of February from UNESCO. They've gone through all the buildings, and they've gone through the garages and that. So why would we want to start with this now until we hear their report? We have 1 year, this year left to do this project with the bus garage. I think we should listen to their report on the condition of our buildings and throughout the whole system. Why jump ahead now and do this? We don't have to do it tomorrow. We can do it in March.
The only thing I would caution you against is
bid times.
Just because this is just authorizing you to go out for bids, it doesn't mean the board has to accept them at any point. But if you wait any longer on these projects, the bid time is going to become it's going to become crunch time. I mean, we're not going to get very competitive bids. So.
Well, that's it. I mean, I would suggest we go for the roofing, but I mean, as far as the garage, I guess I would
like I said, you wouldn't have to. I mean, regardless of what, if when the bids came back, it wasn't something that the board wanted to do, you don't have to accept them. You're just authorizing it to go out to bids right at this point.
Well, let's call the question. All those in favor of authorizing going out for bids on the items selected here? All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed?
I'll abstain.
One abstention, and that was Mike. The others, my hearing was, were in favor.
I would agree. So it was unanimous.
All right.
Yes.
We are up to superintendent's report. Superintendent Carey, do you mind if we delay that just for a moment so that we can hear Mr. Hadrava?
You're running a meeting.
Mr. Hadrava, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair Putzel. First of all, I'd like to take 2 seconds on the last one with the calling for bids. Mr. Carey's right. You guys do not have to go and accept these bids. You can refocus the engineer and architect's ideas and send them out for more bids, and hopefully they're more compatible. But I would urge you guys to take your time, make sure we are tall enough, make sure we are long enough, make sure we are wide enough, make sure we have heat enough.
All right, now you
On
indicated
that.
you wanted to address
So
9.4.
on the other, that was what I was, just wanted to say that real quick, but on 9.4, I was wondering, what was the original focus on the letter to accept his resignation? Was that what 9.4 was?
Yes.
Okay, so we have the agenda was to accept the resignation, right?
Correct.
Okay, so with that, did we accept it or didn't we?
The motion on the floor was to extend the leave of absence.
Extend the leave of absence, but not to accept or deny the letter.
I wrote a note.
So I might be a fine, yes, it might be a fine line, but, okay?
Thank you. Superintendent Carey?
10.0?
Yes.
Okay. I just have a couple of things I want to just report. We had our first strategic planning meeting as a committee last Tuesday. We had 2 gentlemen from MSBA came up. I thought they did a wonderful job running the meeting. We went through several exercises and came up with some possibilities for mission, vision, and belief statements. He has compiled those, and I will be sending those out tomorrow, the notes on that meeting to the committee members. Our next meeting is on February 3rd at 5 o'clock, and I look forward to doing that as well. The other thing that I want to bring up, when we settled our ASME contract, there was a memorandum of understanding in there that we would form a committee to look at our health insurance, and related, because we're in a position where our health insurance provider is telling us we need to get down to one plan. So the idea is to work through a committee of board members and ASME members and try to work that out prior to negotiations. So I am asking Ms. Chair, if you would appoint a committee of up to 3 members to start meeting with ASME in the very near future to work on those insurance plans.
Question?
Yep.
Is it just AFSCME, or is it our teachers' union?
Well, the memorandum of understanding would be
Just
with
with
ASME, yes.
MOU is on their contract.
But if they do not stay with, is it PEEP?
No, the teachers are with PEEP.
And they, for how long?
Guaranteed another year, I believe.
Okay.
The MOU is with AFSCME, and that's the body with whom we need to meet, so.
But my question is, would it be worthwhile to invite staff representation in these discussions, since they could come back into our pool?
I would not be opposed to them being part of them.
I'm just throwing that comment out for the board, looking down the road at the possibility, and if the teachers would want to participate in these discussions.
I think it would be advantageous to start with AFSCME as long as it's their MOU and move forward from there, though. The
Whatever.
first meeting should be with AFSCME.
But we could always invite them in later.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I just want to keep the option open.
Right.
So why duplicate things if we don't have to? Okay.
Is there anyone interested in serving on this? I know I will. Is there anyone else willing to serve on that committee regarding the MOU with AFSCME on health insurance?
I will.
Kathy, at this time, it looks like it's myself and Director Forty.
Thank you.
Board member topics. Mr. Chad.
I've got nothing.
Mr. Gentilini.
In regards to the garage, are we going out for bids exactly on what's on this list here, Jeff? Or
We're looking at 8-stall.
precast concrete?
No, we're looking at
No,
we're looking
no,
at
looking at the
8-stall
precast metal.
8-stall steel building with a 9th stall that for a work bay.
Oh, I always like to have two opinions before we go out for something. Even the Mayo Clinic will tell you that. Should we look at another opinion on this before we lay out the bids?
An opinion on
On
what
the
aspect
garage
of it?
itself, that pretty much what Brad said here, to make sure that this thing is done right this time though. Do we not come back again and remodel again?
That's my comment.
This building, from what the architects told us, that it was designed if they could actually add on more stalls in the future if we wanted to, with the design that they had.
And we've had discussions on this at the Building and Grounds Committee.
A couple of times.
I think as long as we've had a decision made that we'll go out for bids, we'll see what the bids bring us, and if there's something that we need additional information on, we can get it at that time. Start there. We've authorized the bids. Did you have anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Mark?
Two comments. One is on our royalties that we receive from Menorca. I'm somewhat close to the situation, having calculated those in the past before my retirement. But through the first 9 months of the fiscal year, of the royalty year, our share of the payments that have gone to the DNR so far through December will amount to something around $650,000 to our district. And there's one more 3-month quarter to go of mining activity. And it just depends how many tons they mine and so on. But at a minimum, we should be receiving around $650,000 or thereabouts. And I just want to echo Superintendent Carey's comments on strategic planning. I thought it went very well. Most people who said they were going to be there were. But one comment I would like to direct to our chairperson is there was an individual on that committee who chose to attend the planning session but did not participate. And I think if there's not going to be full participation from individuals on that committee, that they should not be on that committee. A member of the public can sit and listen to what's going on. But there was one individual that did not participate, did not join any of the subgroups around the room and work through the sessions. And I would just like to ask our chairperson to think about the status of that individual for ongoing meetings. That's all.
So I just want to make sure that I'm clear. So it was a member of the public who attended, which is certainly fine because those are open.
But as an appointee, as I understand it, she was one of the appointees to the committee,
Okay.
but did not fully participate in what was going on that evening. Sat on the side, did not join one of the tables to work through the projects or what we were given to do.
Okay.
Did not fully participate as a member of the committee. And if that's, I don't think that should continue. If you're going to be on the committee as a member of the committee, not a member of the public observing the committee. There's a distinction. If you're on the committee, you should fully participate. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Keith? I think it can wait.
Just to keep things on the up and up, I make a motion that we table the resignation, letter of resignation from Mark Heitzman. Because that leaves it,
I don't think you can make motion during board member topics. Am I right? You can? Okay. Okay.
Need a second. That way it's legal, it's all done. It's tabled for now.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Keith, supported by Director Forty, to table the letter of resignation from Mr. Heitzman.
Mm-hmm.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed?
No.
Kathy, my understanding is the no vote is Mr. Peterson.
Yep.
Mike, do you have any topics?
Oh, I just wanted to touch on, well, I'll just touch on the garage thing. The only reason why I abstained is, I guess I would like, it isn't that we don't need a garage, it's that I think we should take the time to do it right, and if we're going to put it in a different spot later, or we want concrete, I don't think we should waste the time looking at a metal building, and if we wanted something concrete, I think we should go back to the IRRB and maybe ask for a little bit more so we can do it right. I mean, I just want to make that clear that I'm not saying that we shouldn't have a garage, I just don't think we should waste time doing it subpar if that's the way it works out. Other than that, I just want to say we went to the MSBA conference the other week, and I was completely overwhelmed, and I thought it was a great time. I learned a lot about how other districts are using technology. It was fascinating. I guess it was kind of, everybody keeps talking about we need to paint the school. But one of the speakers said that the children always complained about, they need to paint the schools. Were you at that last speaker? And I don't know who else was there. But basically saying, no, we need, instead of having somebody do it, the guy gave the students a bucket of paint and said, go paint the fence and go paint this. And they kind of did. And I mean, you know what? They took care of it after that. It was kind of like, I say, hey, let's let the kids make a mess of the lockers. Then they'll appreciate them. They won't be spitting gum on them maybe, but just kind of some kind of interesting things that other districts do around the country. And it was neat, I think.
If you want to have grievances overwhelmingly piled up on you, you go right ahead.
Oh, I think,
Because I would not vote for it.
I think it would be fun. I think if anybody said the students can't participate in maintenance, I mean, for their school, I think it would be silly. But I mean, I guess I'm an outsider coming into it. But
Yeah, I think you'd have a lot of trouble.
I think it would be a great thing. I mean, whether
Not
it
saying
happened
it
or not,
wouldn't
I
be,
think
but
it'd be fun.
I don't think it'll happen. But hey,
That's why you weren't at the conference, right? You don't have these
Nope.
new ideas.
Mike, did you have anything else?
Nope, that was it. I guess I just wanted to say it was a good time, and I would hope that we would start getting out of their bubbles a little bit and seeing what the rest of the world's about. Thanks.
Leon?
No, nothing at this time.
All right. And nothing for myself.
motion to adjourn? Oh,
Yes, I'm sorry, Polly, go ahead.
Mark Forty's comment, because it was myself that he was speaking of. And I really don't understand your concern, Mark, because I made it very clear at that meeting that I attended, not as an appointee, but as a member of the public. And so if that wasn't clear enough for you or anybody else, now I will say it again. I am not a member of that committee, although I was asked to be and was sent the information and a letter of appointment. I did not accept that appointment, and I'll tell you why. Because I never did believe in the process of board members handpicking committee members. I've always held that the best way and the fairest way to have members of the community be on committees is to post and advertise community-wide and let the people volunteer their services. And that would be a true committee, a true community giving of themselves committee. And if you happen to have more people volunteer than you have spots for, then you put all the names in a hat and then you choose randomly. But I think it's very inappropriate to have hand-picked members from school board members. And that's why I declined, and that's why I did, and I will continue to sit in on those meetings and others as a member of the public. I did not take part in any votes. You're right, Mark. I didn't go to any of the tables because I wasn't an officially appointed person, having chosen not to be. Thank you.
Thank you. Meeting's adjourned.